Thank you, Evan. I really appreciate it. Really, really happy to be here. I think if there's any silver lining to 2020 and what COVID has done, I think it's the drive so many more people now have to go outside and experience the great outdoors. So if there's a silver lining to 2020 and the pandemic, I'd say that's it. I'm super excited to just briefly talk to you a little bit more about the Dyrt, what the Dyrt is, and how we work with partners in the outdoor industry, particularly with RV partners. If you want to go to the next one here, tell you just briefly how we started. There I am at the Grand Canyon, not quite knowing what I was getting myself into before I started hiking. But my husband and I started the Dyrt 7 years ago because we were avid campers and we were really frustrated with the experience of trying to find a campground online. I'm sure many of you out there have experienced this yourself. And if not, I'm sure you've heard people talk about it. Our strategy, because what we thought would make finding campgrounds easier was to be able to get other people's opinions, hear their reviews, see their photos, just like we do with Yelp or TripAdvisor. I rarely go to a restaurant back when I used to go to restaurants without checking out Yelp. And we thought the same was true with camping. So we really focused for 7 years on building up a community of campers and getting this great content from our users. We now have 1.5 million photos, videos, and reviews of campgrounds within the United States. Next slide, please. So where we are now, after 7 years, we have the largest database of campgrounds and RV parks, and that's everything from state parks to national park campgrounds, forests, national forests, private RV resorts, even private landowners, which is becoming a new trend we've all, I'm sure, seen in the last few years with people having private land that they rent out to people, peer-to-peer land rental. So all of those sorts of campgrounds can be found on the Dyrt, but that's not what makes us special. What makes us special is the next bullet, which is the user-generated content. Really getting those opinions from other campers. So next time I go camping at Rainbow Campground, I know actually site 7 is next to the river and site 14 is next to the dumpster. So I'm going to go with the first one. So just having that sort of information. We're now the top ranked camping app for camping in both app stores. We're really proud of our app. And we have a new user joining about every 27 seconds. So we really focused the past 7 years on building up this community. So now where we are is, we've just kind of unlocked how to monetize what we've been building for 7 years. For one reason we needed to do that is we can only live off our investor money for so long. So we needed to come up with a scalable revenue source. But we're really proud of what the Dyrt PRO is. It provides not only some awesome camping tools for campers, but it also provides discounts, not only to campgrounds, but also in outdoor gear. And I think there's a little more about that on the next slide. So Pro features, what you get if you upgrade to Pro. Everything on the Dyrt besides this is free. So you can join the Dyrt, you can add your reviews, you can read other reviews, you can make lists. That's all free, and that's awesome, and it's a great tool. The additional things you get for Pro, offline access. So let's say you're going up to Mount Hood for the weekend, you have your family, the campground you get to is closed, or full or something, you didn't know it. You don't have phone service, you can still access all the information so you can make a decision then. We've heard from a lot of people out there who are like, oh my gosh, you saved me. My kids were screaming, my wife was mad at me, it was bad, but luckily we found a new place to go. Trip Planner is something I've been really excited about as a user myself. So being able to say, okay, I want to go from Austin, Texas to Portland, Oregon. I want to drive about 5 hours a day. I have this sort of vehicle or, RV or more information about what you're driving. Show me all the campgrounds along the route. really an exciting feature. We've seen people really go crazy for this feature, and they've been planning trips all over the place, which is fun to see. Um, we also have map downloads. So, for people who do dispersed camping, so, you're not staying at a campground, but you're staying in on land where you can camp for free and probably without a lot of people around you, which is attractive now. Um, you can download maps of Bureau of Land Management land and National Forest land. So you can see, okay, I've crossed into that border, and now I can camp anywhere I want within reason. And then the last thing I mentioned are discounts. So you get discounts on campgrounds that are participating, and that is growing every day. And gear. We work with outdoor brands that provide discounts to our users too. So those are the pro features. Let's see what we have next here. We just we like I said, we've been building the Dyrt for 7 years. We just launched the Dyrt PRO, this paid version of the Dyrt, in March, and we only launched one feature at a time over the course of the year. So we didn't even have all the features I mentioned until September. The screen line here is what we had hoped would happen. Our best case scenario being a brand new product. Who knew? Who knows if anyone was going to buy this or not? Luckily, the blue line is what actually happened. So you can imagine how fun it was for me and my co-founder and husband, Kevin, our entire team, to see this happen. It was really super exciting for us. And now we've had 40,000 people purchase this in the first year. We have a new pro user about every 1.5 minutes, and we, tripled our expectations. So we're really, really excited about where the pro is right now, but we're even more excited about 2021 and knowing that so many more people are camping, and just really being a good resource for people to make their camping trips better. So the lessons that we've learned this year is campers want to be prepared, especially new campers. And there's a lot of new campers out there. And it can be scary to be camping for your first time if you didn't grow up doing it, like I know some of us did. But for new people, it's scary. I don't know what to get. I don't know what to rent. I don't know where to go. They want to be prepared. And, we want to be a part of helping them feel like they have the tools necessary. People obviously want to get outside more, especially with what's happened. People want to be outside. And the outdoor industry, as we're all seeing, it's really ripe for disruption. A lot of the things in the outdoor industry have been the same for a long time. So with new innovative technology, like what Outdoorsy does, what we've done, what other companies have done, it's really time for like kind of some of this new technology. And people are using technology more with the outdoors. I think it used to be kind of one of those things where you're like, I go into the woods to get away from technology, and believe you me, I do that. But I want the tools available to help me do that. And I think we're seeing that a lot more. Someone just asked if this is available in Canada, and it's not yet. It's only in the United States. We've been talking for a long time about expanding into Canada, and it's definitely something we want to do. The other thing we're learning this year is there are so many great companies out there doing amazing things. And, we want to partner. We want to be in this together with partners. The Dyrt, we're one part of the equation, but there's a lot, there's many other parts of the equation. So if you go to the next slide, please. So we're really expanding our partnerships, whether it is working with campgrounds to provide discounts, working with retail stores, influencer programs. We've just started this year, affiliate programs, and then also working within the RV industry itself. Go to the next slide. Thank you. So, we've been partnering a lot with different RV rental partners, Outdoorsy included. We have 10 other companies who are a part of this. And the problem that we've heard from many of you and then the people who are renting is that they get their vehicle and then they don't really know what to do next. It's kind of what I mentioned before about not feeling prepared all the time. So great, I've got this vehicle, I'm taking it out. Actually, Kevin and I rented from Outdoorsy, I think it was last year or the year before, we rented a van. And it was so fun to camp in a different way than we had ever camped before. But for people who aren't as familiar with camping, it's like, well, now what do I do? Where do I go? So our hope is that we can partner by giving people the free use of the Dyrt Pro during their rental and help them figure out where they're going to go camping. Next slide, please, Ellie. So how our affiliate program is working is we give partners a 14-day free trial code to use the Dyrt Pro. Our partners that we're working with will share the code with all the renters in their post bookings email. So, I get an email saying I just rented, here's, the information you need, and here's a code to go use the Dyrt Pro for free for 14 days. And then we will pay 20% commission on the pro conversions that happen. So this is something that's been really fun for us to, like I said earlier, kind of be a part of solving the problem and putting the pieces of the puzzle together so that the campers are getting the best possible experience. It's fun to see more and more people camping, and we all, I think, want them to have the best possible experience, so they keep doing it because it's such a great thing to enjoy our outdoors. I think that might be my last slide. Yep. So that's really brief. On what the Dyrt's all about. If any of you out there are interested in being a part of our affiliate program, we'd love to partner with people. Feel free to reach out to me, Sarah at thedyrty.com, and we can get more information sent out.
Sarah, thank you so much. Ellie, if you don't mind going back one slide there really quick, a couple things I would say. One is in the chat. I know Mac, I think, put a note in there. I've played with the Dyrt for a little while now here this summer. Definitely encourage you to download the app for yourself. And this is an amazing opportunity because as Sarah talked about, so many of these people going out for trips on their very first time, they need some help. And if I was a business owner, the value of getting your renters to have a better experience is going to help you get, hopefully, not only a better experience that time, and they don't have challenges and all those things we know can come from it, but then they turn into repeat renters, which is great if they have a better time and they come back to you again, which helps you bring down marketing costs, etc. And of course, this is good for Sarah and her team as well, but this is a big win, I think. So really encourage everyone to follow up there. If we go back to that next slide, make sure everyone has a chance to pull down Sarah's information. We'll also send out some information to everybody post-summit. But Sarah, I really appreciate you taking everyone through this. Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
You talked about all the new people sort of coming into the space of camping and some of their challenges. Is there any advice, like when you are talking to someone, what do you say to someone who's going camping for the first time this year? How do you help them?
I usually tell people to keep it simple the first time you're camping. I think when you're a more experienced camper, you have all these tricks and things you want to bring and tools you use. Like my husband has crazy tarps that he sets up everywhere, and just keep it simple so it's not overwhelming. And don't forget your tent or your sleeping bag or your RV or whatever you're going to sleep in. And I've heard people forget things, but just have the basics covered and keep it as simple as possible, so that you don't overwhelm yourself.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, checklists. That was my mom's, sort of thing whenever we would go on those big family trips, was like she'd have her checklist to make sure everything was in before we would go travel somewhere. And that has carried over into my camping practices as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Be prepared, but don't overdo it.
There is that level. But Sarah, thank you again for spending time. Really encourage everyone to reach out to Sarah and the Dyrt team. Again, really cool product, doing really well. That graph is just probably a fun graph to look at every single time for you, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yep. Every Monday morning, that's how I start my week.
That is really cool. Sarah, again, thank you so much, and really appreciate it.